When will y'all stop? When will y'all stop giving these terrible takes and always saying the same stupid shit over and over and over again? Like, this is crazy.
Mad at me for dating outside my race, but I was dating outside of my race because they was doing things better than my race. I'm gonna keep it 100.
Define better.
My
Define
Spanish,
better.
well, not better because I know where she getting ready to go. Not better.
I know you said they were doing things
not
better. I wanted to know what better meant.
Not better. I'm gonna change that.
I'm trying to save you for the,
I
for
know
the
you
people,
is.
for
That's
the
what I'm saying.
culture.
Not better for the culture.
There we go.
Right, not better. I was dating Puerto Rican. I was dating Dominican.
None of these are racist.
I was dating African. I was dating all type of other really size American black. Right?
Okay, so we mean specifically American black women. Okay, got it.
They were doing way more of what we expect we want our woman to do more than our American. Our American got real comfortable
Give
with.
me some examples.
Oh man, I mean, their mannerisms are different.
Be specific.
Like even my Indian one was from
He making up shit.
One of
He said an Indian woman from, he was gonna say Syria. That's a Syrian.
them countries over there, right? I didn't have to really say much to do and be treated like a king. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times with our own American black, they expect so much of us and what we're supposed to do. Like things like if we go out and eat and we just have a nice dinner, we can go anywhere and eat and get a nice dinner. It had to be Rue Chris, or it had to be this, that, or it had to be this, that. Then I get somebody that's just as fine, a Cuban or a Colombian. They don't care about nothing. They care about you and your household, even though they still care about the money, but it's not about the money. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's a difference. Not.
So let me get this straight. In countries where men are still expected to take care of women 100% financially, you're saying that the women that come from those countries come over here and don't expect a man to show them that they can take care of them financially. But in America, where women actually work and take care of themselves, they expect a man to show them that they can take care of them financially. Right? What are we talking about? Dominican, DR. So a thing that y'all love, oh yeah, you know, the women in DR are submissive. That means that the men in DR are traditional men. They have a traditional role, traditional roles and dynamics in DR, right? Versus America, right? There are more traditional couples where the man is a breadwinner, yada, 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 right? Fine. Okay. So that means that more women in DR expect a man to take care of her 100% financially. In America, you won't find a smaller population of women that expect a man to take care of them financially than here, right? Well, I won't say that. I'm sure in Scandinavian countries, because women work and it's more equitable, that those women don't expect men to take care of them. But you know what I'm saying. America is high up there, right? It's so easy to find women in America that don't expect you to take care of them financially. Y'all, this is what I be saying about y'all. You guys want us to believe that America is full of quote unquote boss babes, y'all words, right? America is full of all these boss babes, while simultaneously believing that American women have these high expectations financially of men. Financially of men. They have these high expectations of men. Now, I can see somewhat of a point here, right? Because women from the DR, generally speaking, this is not me shitting on DR women or anybody like that. I'm just being honest. We're just talking economics, right? The likelihood that a woman from the Dominican Republic, especially a black woman from the Dominican Republic, would be more educated than an American black woman, right? And make more money than an American black woman, the chances are lower. The odds are that you're going to find an educated, financially, a black woman that financially rivals you as a man, as a black man specifically, American-born black woman, than you would a woman from DR or Puerto Rico, or you know what I'm saying, any of these, Syria or India or whatever, right? Now, the reason why that's important, what I'm saying is what that means is that those women from the DR, they aren't as economically viable as a Black American woman is. And we know that people date within their same socioeconomic status and class for the most part, right? Now, so you can make a case, and this is not the case that any of these idiots are making, by the way, but I like to be honest and have the argument that, the best way that we can, right? So you can make a case that American women, but he's talking about Black women, so specifically Black American women, because they are educated, because they are the ones that because they are more likely to be the demographic of women to be the breadwinners in the household over any other demographic of women, that they would require a man to match them financially. So maybe, just maybe, them having these requirements that you match them, right, is the thing that's pissing you off. Because Black women can take themselves to Ruth Chris. These Black women he's talking about, they can take themselves to these fancy restaurants. They can buy themselves Louboutin, red bottoms, whatever, whatever material shit that you guys are providing for them. They can do that themselves, right? And the reason why these women from countries that are more economically downtrodden, they have lower expectations financially of men in America because they come from economically downtrodden countries. So yeah, maybe they're not expecting Ruth's Chris. You don't, but the expectation that the expectation though from these women are you're going to pay 100% of the bills. Whereas the Black woman, that's not her expectation. Her expectation is you're going to be able to match me. And you're telling me that that's the worst. You don't like that scenario, while simultaneously most men in America are 50-50 men, right? It's crazy. Most men are 50-50 men, right, in America. That means they are looking for a woman that can financially, keep up with him, make around the same amount of money as him. Okay. Then women are looking for the same thing. We are comparing women from other countries to American women and not acknowledging that there are pros and cons to both. Like if you want a submissive woman, which me personally, I don't like submissive women personally, and I don't mean I dislike them. I'm just saying as far as romantically, I'm not really into being with a submissive woman, not in my age, maybe when I was 25 or whatever, but not now. That seems like a waste of time. I don't want to do that. But whatever, to each his own, right? Like if you want a submissive woman, you want a woman that's gonna, let you get away with making $80,000 a year, and y'all got to cut corners and budget and do all of that shit just so she don't have to pay no bills, but then she's financially reliant on you, and you get to manipulate her and whatever. Fine, like that's what you want to do. That's a relationship you want to be in. That's fine. That's good for you. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is that most of these women, they just want, the women from DR and stuff like that, their expectations are just lower financially. I'm talking about the women he's talking about. I'm not even speaking for most women from DR. I'm just saying, could it be that the reason why those women were like, oh, I'm happy with wherever you take me, is because the money is different. That's what I'm saying. Y'all, we comparing apples to oranges. It's not the same thing. But there are pros and cons to this. Submissive women, you may like that, but then you have to be 100% responsible for all the finances, which is tough, or it can be, right? Then if you flip it around for the traditional man, quote unquote, you want to be able to contribute as little as possible to the labor in the home, right? So you want a woman that stays at home and doesn't make her own money in the real world, right? In the working world, corporate world, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry, not real world, corporate world, right? You want that woman because the woman who makes her own money, you have less control over, and it's harder to manipulate them. That's what it is. So there's pros and cons to both. But the pro is you don't have the all of that burden of providing isn't on you. You have somebody to split that burden with you. That's why most men are looking for 50-50 women in this country. So that's the reality. That's the reality. The problem is, though, what y'all really want is a submissive provider.
Better, but sometimes we get tired of hearing Birkin bags and sushi.
Do you think that's fair? Because I feel like there's a certain type of woman that does demand that. And to me, I think it depends on the bait you're using and where you're looking. If you're going to go get a model from Instagram that got the BBL, the snatched in stomach, and has all the things that check off money hungry and surface, you're going to get that.
Yep.
If you're going to meet a girl and through different ways and ask different questions, you're going to find that out a lot earlier on, that what's important to her.
I'm not doubting that, but I'm just talking about even if you look on just a regular dating app and just look at what a woman may state that she requires. You know, I'm saying these things because it feels as if social media again is the barometer, okay? And it's the comparison, and when you're comparing yourself to all these other women, and of course, even with the BBLs, because I'm like, that's fine, but I mean...
What's BBL? I'm sorry.
Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, okay.
And there's no shade to women that have
No.
Auntie, please. What's BBL, baby? You is not that old. I think that nobody up there is old. I think we all about the same age. You don't know what a BBL is. Come on, man.
I was wondering. I was waiting for it too. I'm like, excuse me?
And there's no shade to everyone that has them. I'm just saying, if you're going by...
Did this nigga try to act like he didn't know what a BBL was?
just surface things and that's who you're going afterwards, then guess what? She gonna run them pockets.
No, I'm not, and I want to get your thoughts, Doc, and as well, Amy, as a woman dating or even considering, I think that a lot of times, you know, we do value women, but when you talk about black relationships, I think we all come with some baggage, all right? Now, some of us have some baggage that's not gonna fit in the overhead compartment, and some of us have some baggage that you're gonna have to pay a whole lot more for to get on this flight, right? But the reality of it is that's just who we are, and I'm talking about historic. Like if you're talking about being enslaved, where we were and how we engage each other, there's a lot of elements there. But it can be a little difficult because women have expectations in 2021 that they're watching, and they're very material expectations.
The way that men keep telling us, like, I could be wrong about this because I haven't dated in a long time, right? But when I look at all of these studies and it like I did it yesterday when I cited that study that was pointing out the fact that Asian men per capita make more money than white men, black men, whatever, right? And Asian men are more educated than white men, black men, and all whatever, right? But they're the least sought after. If it's material, if materialism is at the top of the chart, is at the top of the list, then explain why Asian men are the least desired by other women. By Asian women, Asian men are desired, right? No doubt we know that, right? But I'm saying outside of Asian women, black women aren't checking for Asian men, white women aren't checking for Asian men. You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. There's no knock, there's no slight to Asian men. It's just based on the numbers. You would have to explain that. You would have to explain that. Why are the brokest men, black men, why are we number two? Why are we number two? It doesn't make any sense, right? When we're the brokest, we're the poorest. Why are black women so race loyal? If all they care about is money, why don't they go date more white men? Why don't they go date more Asian men? This is not me suggesting to do any of this. I'm just making the point that the numbers don't lie. What this dude is saying and what the other dude is saying, fucking the fake Biggie, the dude that played Biggie, I don't know his name, but the dude that played Biggie, what y'all are saying doesn't align with reality, because black women would be moving completely different if that were the case. It's 100. Like, well, I don't know what y'all want to say, man. If that were the case, black women would be moving completely different. They would not be dealing with black men whatsoever. But here they are, the most race loyal group. So what is black men's excuse? Since we date out more than black women, what are we looking for? If black women are looking for money, but they sticking with black men, what's black men's excuse for dating out more than black women? What are we looking for? Proximity to whiteness?
I agree with you, Claudia, but I'm simply saying that
all of them are material.
And I'm not trying to generalize.
It's just
women.
Most of the time it's pointing to American women are more material.
And it's
Okay.
America as a society.
Not better.
Let's bring
Not
spirit.
better.
Let's bring
I
spirit
heard
into
you,
this.
and I gave you the space to even edit the better part, right? So, and I'm with you on that. But let's say this, because you guys both tie in two really important pieces, right? You talk about women who are not African American women, and you talk about the experience and what is the influence here.
So African, like, you mean to tell me I've been around a lot of Nigerian women. I've been around my fair share of Nigerian women. No shade, no teeth to the Nigerian people. Y'all my folks. I love all the black people across all the diasporas. This is no knock on Nigerian women. I'm just being real. You mean to tell me Nigerian women don't expect Birkin bags and all the materialistic shit? I would venture to say that I've never met a more materialistic group of women, specifically in America, than Nigerian men and women. They're extremely materialistic, extremely. We can get into the why. This is my personal experience. I don't have no numbers on this. I'm just telling you my personal experience. Nigerian men and women are extremely materialistic in America. I don't know how they are in Nigeria, right? I don't know if that's the culture in Nigeria. I'm saying when the ones that come to America, they have, all my experience with them have been proven to be, they have proven to be extremely materialistic, both the men and the women. And so when you talk about, because he said, "Oh, my Africans," what country are you talking about? Be specific. Ethiopian women? I don't know, maybe. They're not as materialistic, not in my experience. Right? But I hate when y'all just say Africa as if all of Africa is the fucking same when it's the most diverse continent on the face of the planet. There's so many different African countries that have so many different, vastly different cultures. Like I said, I mainly have been around Ethiopians, Eritreans, and Nigerians, specifically when it comes to Africans. Those are the three, without it, I grew up with, with a few crazy Ethiopians that I knew. They were some cool motherfuckers and my guys, right? And I worked with a lot of Nigerians in my lifetime, been around a lot of them, right? Without a doubt, they all, somehow, some way, they all drive Benzes. This is my experience. I'm not even joking with you. I'm saying all the ones I know, every single Nigerian person that I knew drove a Benz. All of them. New. Not old. A new Benz. All of them. Shout out to my boy Tony Akinola. They all drove Benzes. All of them. I ain't gonna even hold you. Y'all tripping. Don't, please stop that. American black women are so materialistic. They're really not. They're not. Y'all just this is just another manipulation tactic.
You mentioned social media, but what you're really missing here is the piece that you talk about, the enslavement part. The culture and the trauma that African American men and women and children have faced in this country is like unlike any other group. And so when we talk about trauma, what we know is that Black people have a lot of unprocessed trauma. We have a lot of hurt. We have a lot of harm, not just back then, but right now on the daily, right?
Compounding.
And so one of the things that we talk about as professionals within my profession is we talk about how trauma impacts people. And so we love to say, Resma Minikim, one of my favorite colleagues, he says that trauma decontextualized within a person looks like personality. And that trauma decontextualized within a family looks like family traits. And that trauma decontextualized within a people looks like culture.
Wow. That wait, I need that one back. Run that one back for me, man. That was so goddamn good.
Of hurt. We have a lot of harm, not just back then, but right now on the daily, right? And so one of the things that we talk about as professionals within my profession is we talk about how trauma impacts people. And so we love to say, Resma Minikim, one of my favorite colleagues, he says that trauma decontextualized within a person looks like personality. And that trauma decontextualized within a family looks like family traits. And that trauma decontextualized within a people looks like culture.
Wow.
Right. And so when you talk about how African American women present and what they need as it relates to security and finances and the finer things in life, and to look a certain way and to want a certain thing from their man and to have certain expectations. It's because of the trauma that we are still trying to survive. And when we talk about feeling beautiful and the BBLs and the Birkin bags and the wanting the nice things and wanting their men to come with a certain level of care and a certain level of treatment and expectation, we are trying to connect. We are trying to heal with you. We are trying to build with you. But there's so much hurt and trauma that we all have that we don't talk about, that we don't even understand within ourselves, so that we can't find who we're compatible with. Because who we're compatible with is traumatized versions of ourselves.
Spirit, do you think that women...
I gotta say something real quick. But the women are not to say the women are perfect, but the women are showing up way more healed and way more ready to do the work than the men are. I think that's the problem. It's like the women want the men, right? And they have an expectation of the men to they have the expectation that the men will be willing to show up, that will be willing to do the work, and the men don't. And that's where the shit falls on his face, and it just unravels.
And men, women that seek the materialistic things, items, the tangible things, and men that just seek the women for the aesthetics. Do you think those are people that kind of just gave up on love and they're just like going for, all right, well, at least I can see this, I can grab onto this?
No, I think it's science. If you really want to know, we are part of the animal kingdom like anything else. And so what the male species chooses is the thing that's biologically beautiful, because what it suggests from a DNA perspective is you're likely to bear my offspring and they will do well. It's survival of the fittest.
Now, Doc.
And what the female species chooses is the male offspring that can provide the most security, because you're going to be able to protect me and our offspring and raise us, and we will do well.
So we're not gold diggers. It's just...
Both people like, but women like attractive men too. Women like attractive men too, right? And men like women who have reason. I don't believe that. I don't buy that, because women were better hunters than men. Women, when did that happen biologically for us? Women were, women were out defending and protecting and hunting and scavenging and doing this. You know what I mean? Like they were doing shit too. Once they had the baby, it wasn't like they would just do it with the baby on their back. They would do it with the baby in their arms. I don't know. Whenever people start talking about biology, you got a very limited amount of time with me to like try to pin any of this shit on biology. Because we don't know what this shit. You telling me that we don't even know what we would look like outside of fucking capitalism. Like, you have no idea. You don't know what dating would look like outside of like, we have no fucking clue. So as soon as you start talking about biology, I'm like, nah, I don't buy into that. Seems like it seems like everything we're talking about is socialized. Everything.
Science.
It's literally biology. It is literally biology. When you see, listen, when you see the brothers out there with the rims and the flash and the money and the gold, they're no different than the male peacock that's showing his whole.
We're not peacocks, though. This is that red pill shit. We're not peacocks. We're not peacocks. We're not peacocks. I'm sorry. We're not peacocks. I'm sorry. I can't. She dropped a bar and a half earlier, but now she losing me. This right here, I don't like this at all.
Big pretty feathers. Look at me, look at me. And when you see the women that go, show me what you got, show me what you're working with. It's no different than the frog that ribbits the loudest, or the bird that chirps the loudest.
So what do you call a man that's just been providing, that doesn't ask for nothing?
The reason why this doesn't, look, if men showed up for women, because we're human beings, right? We know that we live in a culture that is exploitative in nature. Our culture is, at its core. Every culture, damn near across the globe, right? I don't know what they doing on the island of Sentinel or whatever. I don't know shout out to my Sentinel, my black Sentinel people over there. I don't know what they doing. But everywhere else, you know what I'm saying? On the face of this fucking planet, it's exploitation on top of exploitation. We have no fucking clue what it would look like. So you mean to tell me if we got rid of money that men would still have to peacock? You see what I'm saying? If everybody was provided for, If everybody had provisions, right? Because we pooled our resources and we had a truly egalitarian society, you're telling me that men would still have to peacock for women and pull up with nice wheels and rims? No. That's what I'm saying. The reason why we have to do that is because of capitalism. It's because of exploitation. It's because of wealth inequality. That's why. Like that, yeah, I don't like that shit.
What do you call the guys like me who we don't ask for anything?
Oh, but you do.
How?
You may not ask it with your words, but your expectation is there. So when you say, I need that woman that loves me, I need that woman that has my back, so I don't have to say, hey, is that bacon and eggs there? Hey,
okay,
are those clothes in the drawer?
Not cash-wise. Okay.
So when we talk about compatibility.
Mental. Yeah, what the fuck? I don't have no expectations. None?
Right? One of the things that I love to say, an acronym that I use is rises, that some relationships rise, some fall. You want one that rises. Rises stands for the different types of intimacy that make us compatible.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree with most of the things she was saying, but she lost me with the peacock thing. But ultimately, yeah, this is just another ploy. Black men always doing this, like, woe is me. Men are doing this too. This is not, that's what I mean. Y'all go check out the last video I posted on here. You go listen to that man talk. He's saying essentially the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, he's crying, he's crashing out because he doesn't have access to, to the women or the women that he feels like he deserves or whatever the case may be. But he would tell you the same thing. He said the same thing. He was like, he literally said, he was like, oh, they're being lied to on this square by these other bitter women, and same thing. They have these expectations and da. Why can't they just settle for me? Like that was pretty much what he said. Like, and he's a white man. So men are just trying to triangulate women. Men are just trying to like manipulate women as much as possible. And they're doing this like they're trying to triangulate like gold diggers against like normal women. And it's fucking foolish, man. You got to stop. We got to stop telling